The Trump administration fulfilling their promise to make America safe again, as the latest crime stats show that major crime is down, including murders, which are on pace for the largest one-year drop on record. Fox News contributor and retired NYPD Inspector Paul Mauro joins us now to react. Good morning, Paul. These are pretty remarkable numbers. I mean, we saw what happened with the border being absolutely closed. But when it came to crime in America, so many Americans looked within their own cities and said, boy, we wish that this administration would do something. And now the largest one-year drop on record in murders. What's your take on it?
Well, I think that on the murder statistic, the federal government actually can have some impact. When you consider the fact that Donald Trump has surged federal agents, it's not just ICE. They've actually gotten the FBI and other agencies out there being much more proactive, making arrests and trying to drive these crime numbers down. So when it comes to that big statistic, murders, I do think that something of a victory lap is in order, especially when you see certain cities, like, for instance, Chicago, having a significant drop in homicides. I would point out, however, that when it comes to quality of life crimes, the things that we deal with far more often in these cities, the federal government, it's tough for them to have an impact. It's tough for them to get in there and have any major effect on things like, let's say, shoplifting or the homeless in the streets, the menacing kind of stuff that I think drives crime down, quality of life crime in our blue cities and really affects quality of life. So while I would say this is very encouraging, and you do have some property crime down and so on, I do think that it's still going to be up to the local cities to take care of their own.
Well, it is. And you mentioned cities, by the way. We can show you some more data. Total arrests have skyrocketed in 17 key cities compared to the same period under Biden, nearly 14,000 from January 20 to December 2022 versus 6 to 7,000 annually over the previous 4 years. And I can tell you, Paul, look, I live in Washington, D.C. Crime is down. Myself and all of my fellow residents are very happy to see it. In Memphis, remember the president went into Memphis, the town where I was born and raised, crime significantly down. Every Memphian I've talked to is ecstatic about it. Do you see this trend continuing?
I think we have a good chance of it. I think one of the things is that this administration has changed the narrative. They've actually prioritized safety in our cities, and they've drawn the attention. I think in many ways they have embarrassed some of these cities into taking action. And we talked in the previous segment about some of the activity going on relative to Central and South America. Let's not lose sight of the fact that by hardening the border and by doing some of these deportations, the administration has gotten rid of a lot of MS-13 gangbangers, Tren de Aragua, and other organized crime groups that are not just responsible for big crimes like murders, drugs, and so on, but also for a lot of theft. So I think it's undeniable that it's having an effect. I think you got to keep the pressure on. And I think it's a good sign. Whether or not these blue cities, however, are going to pick up the mantle and do what they have to do relative to recidivists, I think is the big question.
It's a shocking dot to connect, isn't it? If you have an open border, which is what we had under the previous administration, crime went up. FBI Director Kash Patel is talking about the violent crime arrests doubling compared to Biden's record. He says in just 1 year, we have essentially doubled our number of violent crime arrests and made massive strides in helping make America safer than ever before. And it seems to me, Paul, that now that they have closed the border, and that was a contributing factor to the rising crime, they're able to focus on just driving the crime down in those cities. And I think 2026 may see even greater decreases. Would you agree?
I think I would, and I'm going to point to something specific. When you make arrests, you gather intelligence. You dump phones, you do debriefs, you see who the perpetrators call. You gather the network, and you're able to contextualize who you're dealing with. That's why some of the bail reforms are so just sort of malevolent when it comes to categorizing crime and stopping this stuff before it happens, because when you gather the intelligence, you know how to break up these crews, whether they're robbery or property crime crews, et cetera. So the fact that they have done this, it has a cascading effect. If you keep the pressure on, we saw this in the 90s with broken windows. Essentially, the appetite comes with the eating. The more you do, the better it is.
Put your finger on something important there, bail reform. We'll see what happens here in New York City under Mayor Mamdani. Paul Mauro, thank you for your time. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Griff.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.